backs against the wall. They're just farming their own neutrals and wherever they can. And I think they know that they do not want to fight. Even if they find a sort of a 4v1 pick-off, it quickly becomes a 4v4 with the Wisp relocate. Nature's Prophet can TP. Lifestealer can either infest into Wisp or Nature's Prophet, and it's 4 heroes who can be anywhere on the map at any time. So there's no ability for them to even smoke gank their way back into this game. All they can do is sit back and farm, and LGD International being a lot more efficient with their farming, it feels like.
Yep, there was a Sanjin picked up on Lifestealer. It wasn't a Basher after all, so he's going for a lot of movement speed, some more disable as well. His skill points are almost maxed out as well, so it doesn't even matter what his skill build in the past was now. He's going to be really strong, and the levels as well, I think they're doing quite well on the Radiant team, if I can find the right tab here. Total hero levels, yep, really good for the carries. Brax is doing the best, actually, hitting up level 14, so he's had a really great game so far. 2-0 and 9, especially against the Slark. It's pretty scary, so props to him.
Yeah, he got a couple CS behind Slack, but as soon as he got his minus up, he started to level really fast, and then he also came to the fight. It's a lot more reliable to have a teleport into a fight than look to TP and guess where the fight's happening. Oh,
ooh, they're going in. They're going after Zhao 8. Here comes the Wave of Terror. Will we see the swap? He's actually a little behind, but we do see. Yep, there the swap goes through. Roar actually on Wisp. They weren't quite positioned. Great disruption from DDC. Save the stun, but will Zhao 8 survive? He's going to right-click. Misery, he does get the kill before he goes. No, Wisp takes him back. He's going to stay alive just barely, but we'll see G being right-clicked down by Yao.
Oh man, that was a sick relocate out there, saving the Vengeful Spirit. Now Yao, they're trying to burst him down here. He's actually going to go on G. The leap not going to land. So Gyrocopter, meanwhile, with the help of gets a kill onto Jakiro here from Brax, actually. And now Gyrocopter, BKB is there, but BKB does not matter when you've got this amount of physical damage. The plus damage from the Vengeful Spirit Aura. Now the chase is onto Yao. He's got ultimate, he's got leap, he should be okay, but 4 heroes dead on the Chinese squad.
Wow.
Did they get a single kill?
No.
I don't think so.
It looked like they were going to kill Venge so hard, but the perfect timing for Wisp. I mean, I want to say that was high skilled, but that was just really lucky timing because they teleported in, and the time that the relocate took them back was right when Misery was about to die. I mean, DDC saved the first stun to keep Beastmaster alive longer. It was such sick plays, but LGD's moderate gold advantage at this point is just like being a little bit too much to stop LGD China from getting kills.
About 3 seconds in that fight, I'm thinking, wow, this is the fight where LGD China could get back into this game. LG International, it looks like the international guys had somewhat overextended and given an opening to LGD China. I'm thinking, wow, this is it. LGD China not out of this game if they can win this fight. And it looked like they were doing that, but just didn't happen. G survived with very low HP on Lifesteal, and then same thing for the VS. The relocate out was bit of luck, bit of great timing, and, well, 1437 saves them, and China still can't find a kill.
Well, they're gonna do their best. In the meantime, Sylar is guarding the mid lane. He did get his BKB up and used it at a great time to dodge a stun, but I mean, after that, the right click was still too serious. And props to G as well, being able to stay alive, armlet toggling constantly. He dodged the leap as well. He definitely got close to dying a couple times, as did the rest of his team. So pretty scary for them. And now we have an ultimate orb picked up on Nature's Prophet. He almost has a sheep stick. He just needs about 900 gold. He's most of the way there. Pretty insane farm out of him.
Yeah, it's incredible. LG China have only had 1 kill in the last 10 minutes of the game, which is really where they're struggling. And because they're not farming well, they're not really making up for it. They haven't been able to push down many towers. These 2 towers, they got the tier 1 mid and bottom. They got ages ago, not to mention the mid one was denied, so they're not really getting much as far as gold goes. They're a good 14, 15,000 gold behind, and LG International, the ball's in their court. They can do anything they want here as far as being aggressive, sitting back and farming a bit more, getting their Nature's Prophet is sheep stick. They don't have to rush things here at all.
Especially with their global presence. I mean, they keep doing this. They infest on the Vengeful Spirit, they teleport somewhere with relocate, and they've got 3 heroes in a fight. Only guy that isn't global is going to be Pyka. And of course, Nature's Prophet can also teleport. So it's got to be so scary. If we look at the positioning for LGD, most of them are just covering each other. I mean, Sylar can't really farm alone without his supports nearby. And they can't just do it with Jakiro either, because Rage is just going to kill him no matter what. I mean, he can BKB out of the open wounds, but they really need the Roar to be in the general area to try to shut them down.
Yeah, well, some of the Western teams show people how to use Wisp with like a hard carry, like Chaos Knight or PA or whatever, but this is LG International showing people how to use Wisp with a 4-position support, with the Vengeful Spirit, and VS now up to 1500 HP with this Ogre Club. He's more than halfway to an Aghanim Scepter. This is not only a Vengeful Spirit with a great initiation and stun, this is a tanky and hard to kill Vengeful Spirit.
That's so insane. I've ended with this much farm. 5, 3, and 11. He's been doing a great job. Going for tanky items first, of course. And now he's got swap at level 2. 925 range, just slightly higher than it was pre-buff. But once he gets it up to level, he doesn't even need 16. If he can just grab his Aghanim Scepter, how are any of these heroes going to die? Like, whoever Slark goes on, swap him out, run away. Like, buys them a lot of time. What about Roars? Anybody that gets roared, they're a little limited on disable as well. I mean, it just counters a lot of the stuff that LG China's working with.
Yeah, I think back when Vengeful Spirit was a top pick carry, it was often picked against Beastmaster, because generally speaking, whoever got roared was a dead hero. VS was the one way to prevent that from happening. Now people obviously have a lot of other ways of countering with Shadow Demon in the pool, with 4-stars, but VS swap is so good in so many different situations, either aggressively to pick someone off or defensively. It's like, in some ways, just a superpower disruption, how you can use disruption either to save someone or to set up a kill.
Wow, and look at that stat. 1 in 5 overall with Venge and Wisp.
Wow.
I don't think they played it like this, though. This is seriously impressive and very, very effective. Man, that is pretty cool. This looks like a win, man, and maybe it's gonna be 2 and 6 or 2 and 5 pretty soon. Look at that swap range. Zhao Wei goes in. They haven't thrown a stun on him yet. They're trying to save it. Great ice path. Roars well. He's doing everything he can. Disruption to keep him alive for a second. Misery does finally go down. Yao with the BKB as well. Brax is gonna go down. Oh my gosh, LGD China's doing it here. G on the run, looking for another ice path. It actually lands. Will G go down? He does get killed. You cannot armlet toggle when you are stunned, guys, and that is the counter to Lifestealer. 4 dead heroes. Great team fight from LGD China. And I just said the game was over. It's not at all. Wow. Man.
Yeah, they didn't stun Zhao Wei right away.
Yeah,
when he got
that's true.
He got the roar off. At no point was he stunned. The tethers didn't stun him. The Vengeful Spirit didn't follow up with a stun. There wasn't even just a mini stun from a Lucent Beam would have been enough, but he got a roar off and then 4 kills followed. There's an immediate pause, so maybe that's something to do with why there was a lack of stun. Maybe one of the players' computers hang or something. But that was... to me, it looked like they'd got the swap initiation and they should have killed off Zhao Wei. And then once he's dead, they don't lose that fight. But because he got the roar off, it was an entirely different fight. One spell changed the course of everything.
Yeah, and the mech on top of it. Like, if he just stops that roar, Vengeful Spirit got disabled, Jakir was able to throw the macro pyre and throw it on the ice path afterwards. Just absolutely rip through them, and they won a pretty one-sided team fight. Now, keep in mind, global team, Pycat's bot, he was not there at that fight. So that was a 4v5 going on. Part of the reason that LGD did so well. And also, there was a BKB on the Slark, which he just picked up, I believe. Hasn't used it before now. Yep, that was his first BKB usage. And against these 4 heroes, popping a BKB is really scary. They have a Hex, but if they don't catch him before the Black King bar, they don't have enough damage.
And they lost Gem as well. I don't think LGD China yet they've noticed it. DDC picks up the Gem. Previously bought by the Wisp here. That's a big loss at this point. It means LGD China can get themselves map control, deny a lot of these wards on the map. They don't have to worry about Slark being spotted by a gem. It's going to force a lot of sentries to be purchased, which Wisp does have some already. But more than anything, you deward the map. You can put the gem back on the courier to be safe if you want once you've done that. But even so, just carrying it around can be very useful considering Nature's Prophet has a Shadow Blade.
Yep. Absolutely is going to be useful. DDC doing the smart thing and checking around for the wards at the moment. He's checking his jungle largely, and the reason he's doing this is because, again, very global lineup on LGD.int, so he knows that they're probably going to be putting observer wards in their own jungle so that they can see those targets for ganks. But little does he know, there's actually very few there, and at the moment, 0 wards on the map for the Radiant team, so he's actually wasting his time. But who's going to know that?
We'll see some more coming up in just a second from the Wisp here, who should be spotted mid, so they'll know some wards coming up soon, probably around this middle river area. Wisp actually just hovering around VS still, so we're not seeing any Lifestealer infest right at the moment. Looks like Lifestealer trying to finish off that basher you were mentioning earlier. He's got the Javelin up. Having a bash to go through these BKBs just gives more physical damage and more lockdown that counters these BKB and the magic community.
Yep, and once you can get those to lower cooldowns or just burst them down through it with physical damage, it's going to make you win team fights pretty much. It is going to be a little tough though. Sanjin Yasha is not the best damage item in terms of physical damage. It's much better for a chase item essentially, so that means BKB is kind of a nice solution against it. Like if he just went a damage item instead of the Sanjin Yasha, maybe he could burst down through the BKBs a bit easier, but unfortunately for him, all about chase.
Yeah, he wants. I think with the Nature's Prophet, the Luna, they're getting enough damage there. Not to mention the stacking Horus from Luna and VS. I think they've got enough damage, and the Sanjin Yasha gives him also attack speed to combine with the Basher, but either way, he's not going to be the main damage dealer on this LGD International squad. Yeah,
it's about 32% attack speed, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. Treads, Midas, whatever, all about the same. And they actually want to fight top, it looks like. We're seeing a ping. Brax is farming the Ancients here, puts his ulti down, apparently wants to get a little bit more map control because they might want to take a tower soon, so slowing down the mid push, slowing down the bot push. And a lot of LGD players are sitting behind the farmer top.
Yeah. One of the best skills to have in these sort of mid to late games this isn't a complete stalemate, is the Beastmaster. Having Hawk to give vision of your opponents is so crucial. And even in teamfights, knowing where these heroes at the backlines are is so important. I know Effing Mad wrote a blog about how Beastmaster is one of the best teamfight heroes just because having vision in teamfights is so damn important.
Yeah, it's like a free Aghanim Scepter on Night Stalker, basically, for a couple skill points. They're just going to kill the boar. Don't like the boar, I guess. It is scouting, of course. The best thing to kill is the Hawk. If you can spot this thing, you take it out immediately. Most of the time, might not be the case, but very low HP on this guy. Take it out, you block their vision. They won't get in a bad team fight unless you use smoke, so...
Nature's Prophet's doing something similar. He's got a triangle of treants in the enemy jungle, just scouting out everything going on there, all these little yellow dots everywhere. So Brack's doing a great job of spotting whether or not LGD China are in their jungle or not. But right now, no one there. They see the team at mid lane. They know it's safe to keep on farming, and it seems that LG International, even with item pickups like the Scythe of Vice or Nature's Prophet, they're still very, very wary of fighting after that last mishap at top lane.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, if they had Pycat there, he is actually coming to the fight for once. TP's to the top lane. The Ultimate Orb is on the way, so he's farmed a Yasha as well as an Ultimate Orb since the last time he fought, I believe. He's going to be really hard to kill now. He doesn't have the Manta style, but at this point, I'm not that concerned with it. We're actually going in. Here comes the Roar. It's going to go on Misery again. Here's the Rage as well. G's going to go on Zhao. Great disruption, buys him a second. Misery throws the nukes. Wisp is going to pull him back, trying to keep him alive. Pycat drops his ulti as well, but the couple illusions on the ground are going to eat things up. Zhao running for his life, but he doesn't end up going down. And that's going to be the end of the fight, breaking out 2 dead heroes on LGD. A great TP back from Wisp once again to save the Venge. There's the swap, and that's actually to get a stun forward. Throws it in, grabs DD. Wisp Spirits, easy kill on that support hero. And 3 dead heroes now. Super sick save from Wisp that absolutely turned the fight, made it one-sided.
Yeah, much better execution from LG International in that fight, and they get a tier 2 tower, 3 kills. They're going to keep on marching on. It looks like they will go high ground here, and with a lot of these ultimates being used, Gyro cooldown for 15 seconds, no Roar, this gets really difficult to defend for LGD China. Meanwhile, the international squad, they're all healed up. They've got plenty of mana. They're good to fight and good to fight again.
We've got no buybacks on LGD China. They're going to open wounds going in on again. Sylar, great disruption by Maseki. He doesn't have BKB though. 3-4 hits on DDC. He goes down. Sylar gets hexed as well. There's the nukes. 3 dead heroes now. This looks like a guaranteed Rex, and good game is called from LGD China. The game is over. 26 kills to 12 for a 31-minute game. Super sick play. I love that Wisp Venge. That was so fun to watch. I just love the fact it doesn't have to be Chaos Knight, guys. It doesn't have to be Chaos Knight.
I think it really shows how Wisp is worthy of that first pick when there's so many different ways you can combine it into a lineup. We've seen teams go super aggressive with the Wisp CK mid. Other teams go for the Wisp PA, very defensive, like your Alliance-style Wisp play. And then you have this, something completely new and different. The Wisp Vengeful Spirit. LG International just got too far behind, and once they got there, as soon as they lose another fight, they're out. They lose Raxus. They call GG. There was nothing more to it. They were just so far behind that one fight was going to cause them to lose the game. LG International, just amazing execution from start to finish.
Yeah, and they did come back and fight and win one team fight at least, but they probably needed to do that at least 2 to 3 more times before they were able to secure the game. And at that point, they had so many kills. It was pretty rough. So, yeah, as the tooltip says, LGD improves to a 1-4 with the win here, and LGD is going to fall to a 3-4. So, pretty surprising to see that. So, we'll be back in just a second, guys. This was Purge and Gods casting Game 1. Game 2 is coming up in just a bit, and I want to hear what you guys have to say on the analytics desk.
Thank you, Purge. Thank you, Gods. And LGD International, we said 1-1 for this series Blitz. We both agreed on that. I forget who you said was going to take Game 1, but here we are. Game 1 going to LGD, and they did it, let's be honest, they did it in style.
They really did. I thought... looking at the lineups, I thought it was going to be a little bit shaky because I thought Ya was going to win that top lane, and that tri lane looked really shaky at the start.
For LGD China, it looked good at the start. That's a very scary tri lane they had, and Sylar was free farming. I think about 8 minutes into the game, he had 48 CS, 6 CS a minute, and an aggressive tri lane. Fantastic. Up against a Wisp Luna. Luna was level 3 around the 6-minute mark. That's pretty poor. Wisp level 2. The pull was completely shut down. Gods and Purge talked about it. They did a great job warding it. It felt like, for me, you look at LGD China's strategy, and I thought it was a sound strategy. You run an aggressive tri-lane, you delay the Wisp level 6, you limit the Luna's farm, maybe you lose the mid lane a little bit, Beastmaster versus Lifesteal. Any melee hero versus Lifesteal is kind of a tough matchup, but Slark's going to do well in the off lane against Prophet, and then you come into the mid game with a Wisp who doesn't have level 6 or is just absolute food, and it should have gone well for LGD China, but there were quite a few tower dives from them.
Yeah, I think if they had played that game a little more passively, they would have been okay. in a tri-lane on a dual lane situation where the Venger's rotating a lot,
Yeah.
ideally you want to try to get kills as much as you can against that dual lane. But at the same token, they were doing so well without having to do that that it wasn't exactly necessary, especially since you know that a Nature's Prophet 6, you know that he can TP at
Yeah.
any point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just putting yourself in an unnecessary risk. And at the same time, Xiao 8 as Beastmaster, he's not really going to win against that Lifestealer mid just because the Feast does so well against you, trading right clicks. And also the fact that Rage makes you ungankable.
You know, it's actually something we've seen a lot more as of late, is this solo mid Lifestealer. And we've seen it specifically to counter Melee's mid. We saw it yesterday. I forget who ran it, but it was against a Magnus in the Dota 2 Super League. And we saw it today versus Beastmaster. I think it was actually G both times. So LGD.int, they've busted it out twice now. And I mean, you pointed out when we were just analyzing on the couch in the other room casually that, I mean, you get levels on a Lifestealer mid, that's going to do a lot more, and farm, it's going to do a lot more for you later on than a Beastmaster in most cases.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it just seemed like Xiao 8 was having a really hard time rotating, whereas G came in at perfect spots, and they just mitigated the damage of Roar, and they were able to rotate a lot more fluidly, it seemed. I just think that they should have seen the Misery rotation coming for middle.
Yeah.
That one time that Xiao 8 died, because you have to know that he can't do anything at bottom.
Right.
The one knock on Wisp that Chinese teams have always had is that he's not very good against a tri-lane on tri-lane situation. And LGD China knows that when you look at most of LGD International's games, they don't run that safe lane tri-lane very strongly. So instead, they rotate Misery a lot. And so you have to see that coming. Like, giving up a kill like that just seems a little bit shaky.
They at least saw it the first gank coming. They dodged the smoke gank, and then the courier, they upgrade it in time so it doesn't get picked off. So they weren't completely oblivious, but it just wasn't quite good enough in the end. And then we go to the mid game, and that's where things got absolutely sensational. The Vengeful Spirit Wisp combo. We even saw swapping forward on the part of the Vengeful Spirit just to set up a stun, getting the early Aghanim, well, not early, but relatively quick Aghanim Scepter, one of the best. I'm glad to see the resurgence of Venge, because she is arguably one of the best heroes to just break the base. And LGD have been talking about that since the day they moved to China, and hey, they maybe have found a hero that can help them do it.
Yeah, the difficult thing for LGD International there was the fact that I wasn't sure how they were going to get out of the laning phase very well, but especially that dive at bottom with LGD China, you never want to
That first dive.
Yeah.
Xiao 8 hits level 6, TP's bottom, then all falls apart.
Yeah, all 5 were there in time. Yao came a little bit late, and then they just got nearly wiped from there. Your mid dies, your carry dies.
Right.
And then from there, I mean, you never want to say game is over, but if I had to point to like a
turning
game-deciding fight, like that would be the most important one. Losing that much control that early and not making that Beastmaster gank initially successful, that really swings the tide really early.
There was one fantastic moment for LGD China. The fight top near the tier 2, the Dire tier 2. Sylar hits a 4-hero cooldown. Both cooldown rockets hit the entire enemy team, and then the flat cannon splashes through every single flat cannon, hits every hero in that fight. They actually got rid of 4. Pycat wasn't there. I thought maybe they had a slight chance at that point, but it just wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah. That was like the scariest moment. You're like, wow, actually LGD China is fantastic at team fighting.
And
who knew?
Yeah, they have a really strong 5-man lineup.
Yeah, but they weren't able to...
Too far behind.
Yeah, the worst thing was that Beastmaster's not one of those carries or mids that snowball really well into the late game, just because the damage kind of it recedes eventually. Whereas Lifestealer does such a good job of scaling into that mid game a lot stronger, just from a damage output point of view. So it's really important that you get that low cooldown roar off as much times as you can early, just with successful ganks. But he wasn't able to do that in LGD International, actually the team that put on pressure.
And truth be told, he got caught out a lot. I mean, there were quite a few times where he had to use Roar defensively. There was that one engagement mid around the 15-20 minute mark. He throws out the Roar. He dies anyway. I felt for LGD International, I didn't think they would get through that laning stage intact, to be totally honest. We expect G would do well mid, but end of the day, LGD, they take game 1. It's, of course, a best of 2. Game 2 will be coming up soon. So with that being said, we'll take a quick break, and after that, we'll see, can LGD try to bounce back, or will they take the series and a clean 2-0 sweep on the side of LGD? We'll find out after this.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be watching Game 2 of LGD.int versus LGD China. Game 1, super sick, Wisp, Vengeful Spirit plays. This is going to be Game 2 coming up, co-casting this with BTS Gods on Skype. Gods, are you excited for the next game?
Yeah, I'm really excited. LGD China, a team who can, of course, always play from behind, but their preferred position is to be ahead from the start, as is Zenny's, but they're a team who I feel don't do as well from behind. Even their play style is always suited to getting ahead very methodically, staying ahead when they're ahead, and just not giving their opponents opportunities to get back in the game. They're going to try to do so with this Game 2 draft here. They get a hero that they're very successful with in the Visage as their first pick as well.
Yeah, this was a hero that actually saw a huge surge in the TI3 Eastern qualifiers. It was more of a pocket pick, and then he became extremely standard. So, yeah, we saw a little bit of a weird support last game with a Jakiro picked up very early, and now look at this game. Earthshaker and Venomancer in the first round. What is going on?
Yeah, all kinds of new, unusual support. I think Earthshaker is cool because it also denied the Earthshaker from LGD China. Has great synergy with the Visage as far as setting up kills go, having the long-range stun. And I think it's something they want to deny as much as they want to grab themselves with Venomancer. Not a particularly instant counter or good hero against any of these LGD China heroes. Not a bad hero. He's just a standard support hero, but picking him over other support heroes, sort of, that's why they want the Venomancer. Let's say, why would you want a Venomancer then? If you go into Ursa, it makes sense. Having one of the best level 1 slows, and you can do so much damage right off the bat, is a good reason to pick up a Venomancer.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Venomancer got any buffs. I believe he got a Poison Sting buff, if I'm not mistaken, at level 4. Yeah, the duration goes up to, I think, 12 seconds at level 4 or something like that. So slight Poison Sting buff on Venomancer, which is very rarely going to impact things. So largely I would say pretty much no buff to Venomancer here. He received a nerf a couple months ago with Venomous Gale getting an increased mana cost up to 125 instead of 95 mana. The bright side is that it stays the same at all levels, so it's worth putting points into it if you feel tanky enough. So, but even still, Venomancer Ursa combo can definitely kill heroes. Doesn't kill Weaver, but all these other heroes on LGD Gaming, Windrunner, Visage, as well as Ogre Magi, will have to be very careful.
Ogre Magi gets picked up as the other support for LGD China. So they've got Ogre Visage as their 2 supports. I've got a little beep on my phone, and it's because Brax just tweeted Skeletron King. So I don't know if a Skeleton King's... One thing you can't spell Skeleton King, or Skeletron is something I'm unaware of. Are they picking an SK here? Are they getting like the Lifesteal Aura with the Ursa? I don't know.
I just got confused because I thought they were the Dire team. I was like, okay, this is going to be Ogre Magi buffing a Skeleton King or something like that, but Skeletron King.
No, it was Brax who tweeted, so the LGD International team, so it'll be like a Skeleton King Ursa.
They could level 1 Roshan. They are they Dire? Yeah, they're Dire, are they not? So they do have a possible Roshan advantage here. Batrider on top of that is pretty good in the early game. But I do love the Ogre Magi pick, though, as a counter to Ursa. Just because if he gets 1 level of Ignite, and Fire Blast is a pretty low cooldown, you have a lot of ways to allow your team to kite him better. So that's one thing that I like about Ogre. As a support hero, he has more disable than the typical one. And it is going to force Ursa to pick up a BKB before he can pretty much just do whatever he wants.
Maybe he's just teasing.
Wow.
No, he's not teasing.
It's teasing. Damn. All right. New battle plan for a professional Dota against LGD Gaming. And just read their Twitters, man. GG.
Too bad LGD China don't check Twitter. You can do it in China apparently because Brax is on there, obviously using some sort of VPN.
Man.
They're teasing, man.
He's map hacking for his opponents or something.
It ruined it for us. Like it's like that moment when Toby's at DreamHack and there's a Meepo pick, and him and Syndra just both like look at each other and scream Meepo.
And then
it
tweeted,
completely ruined it for us.
Yeah, no kidding. What a bunch of jerks. So what is even fancy about this? I thought it was gonna be like a buffed up Skeleton King or something. He has recently been buffed as a hero. You get Mortal Strike from his 3rd skill, which is his crit. The downside is, well, or I'll explain it first. First of all, it takes away 20% of the hero's max HP, gives it to Skeleton King for 7 seconds. The downside is, during that duration, you cannot passively crit. So it's good for burst in the early game because it scales the same at all levels. The Mortal Strike is 20% at all levels. So you can just go 1 crit with max stun and do a lot of damage. Really going to be really good against Dragon Knight, for example, and Ogre Magi.
Yeah, it's not the best late game as far unless you're looking to play Skeleton King as mostly a tank, and they can have that secondary damage source coming from Pike at you. But This is
Ooh.
a really cool, interesting lineup. I'm wondering how the Skeleton King picks up. It's going to be Brax playing him in that he's the 3-position player, which sort of leads towards an offensive tri-lane even, or even some sort of a dual lane here, because I'm not sure how Skeleton King's going to fit in. And the other big question, do they level 1 Rosh? LGD China have got to be expecting it. They've got to be checking Roshan, and Weaver a pretty good hero to check Roshan with because of the Shikuchi.
Well, let's take a look at some skills and item builds. We have a Stout Shield as well as a Ring of Protection on Earth, so that's not too weird. Brax is not skilled yet. If we see him go Vamp Aura, it's going to happen. But they're running to the pit. Maybe they're just going to wait there and then just jump on them. They haven't started the Roshan yet. Yeah, this is what they're doing. They're baiting it, I think. This is what they're... Oh, I love this. This is so cool. So
They know Weaver will be the one checking, and they're like hoping that... Oh, no. Power shot scouting.
Great power shot. That was very, very smart from LGD China here. Not going to fall into the trap here. They're actually not even going to go in. I assume they're just going to power shot occasionally. Keep in mind, though, this is going to prevent Yao from having Wind Run for the lane setup wherever he ends up in the ultimate situation. If he's like an off lane versus a tri lane, this could cost him, but they have at least not fallen into this trap.
And that the